They have taken you from the Imperial City's prison. First by carriage and now by boat.
To tour Vvardenfell and assess its urban planning. Hey everyone, welcome back to my series. I kind of feel like I should be saying welcome back me, because I was the one who was gone for a year. If you are new here, thank you for tuning in. I tour various video game cities and assess their urban planning and design, and I am currently traveling across the continent of Vvardenfell and Morrowind. As I just alluded to, I deeply apologize for my very extended absence. I put out a community post about it, but briefly, if you didn't see it, right after I posted my first video, it turned out I was able to continue my college education. And essentially, I just failed to do both of those things at the same time. So, while I can't promise it won't happen again, I absolutely plan on continuing the series for the long term, sporadic though the uploads will likely be, but we'll do our best. I am also aware that I promised the next video would be about Ald'ruhn, and as you can clearly see from the title of this video, that is not the case. I filmed half of the Ald'ruhn video a year ago, and not the other half. And so I have half of that video, and really to finish it properly, I would need to go back to Ald'ruhn and refilm it, which I am planning on doing. However, for my return, I thought it would be better to start with a clean slate, and thus I decided to travel to the beautiful and iconic Ald'ruhn. If you are looking forward to the Ald'ruhn one specifically, stay tuned. So, Ald'ruhn. As we explore Ald'ruhn today, or over these next few days, our guiding question will be, how well does the city serve its population? Now, obviously, that is a complex question to answer, so we are going to be breaking down our assessment into different categories, those being mobility, energy, and diversity. I can't wait to visit Ald'ruhn. It is such a unique city, and I always enjoy my time there. Oh my god, there was a body down there. Before we head out, let's go over some basic information about the city so that we have our info going in and we can appreciate it once we get there. It is a large Redoran city on the southwest side of Ghostgate, and thus experiences frequent ash storms due to its proximity to Red Mountain. Therefore, if you are visiting Ald'ruhn, please plan to spend a lot of time indoors or bring face coverings. Ald'ruhn has a population of 130 people approximately, and its landmark is the Underscar Manor District, which you will see shortly. It is very impressive if you have not already been there. Okay, let's head out then. Oh, before I do that, this is an extensive project with not insignificant costs for lodging and travel, so any comments, any likes, or subscriptions really significantly helps out the funding for this journey, so please and thank you for any support. I really appreciate it. Alright, I'm excited. Let's go to Ald'ruhn. Okay, good morning. It's 7 a.m. already. Okay, here we are in Ald'ruhn. I came here last night and spent the night. Excited to get an early start here. Gonna skip breakfast. I actually don't like to eat in the morning that often. Beautiful blue sky today. Okay. This is the Ald'ruhn Inn where I stayed last night. I definitely recommend it. Very comfortable and a really nice location. Maybe let's go to the Silstrider and get a lay of the land.
Under sun and sky, Outlander, we greet you warmly.
Thank you. Same to you. This is an iconic city for me. I grew up visiting here pretty frequently. This architecture just really had a hold on my imagination. I'd never really seen anything like it before, and so I hold Ald'ruhn in a very special place in my heart, so I'm looking forward to exploring and talking about it with all of you. We're going to think about the transportation options, we're going to talk about walkability, how comfortable and easy is it to get around on foot, and then accessibility. How I think about accessibility is going to be a little bit different in this video. Following the last video I put out, there was really good discussion and points taking place in the comments section. Where I come from, there is no legal levitation or anything like that, and there's also much more limited stock of sort of healing potions and things like that, so I wasn't taking into account those differences, because obviously levitation is actually legal in Morrowind, and so that definitely adds nuance to our discussion of accessibility. And so I'm definitely going to jump in and kind of deep dive into that a little bit, so not to worry, we're going to address everything that you guys pointed out, And yeah, so our accessibility section might look a little bit different than it did last time, and I think that's appropriate. First, let's just talk about walkability, pleasantness of walking. Actually, you know what? Before we get into that, let's purchase a guidebook. I believe one of these shops sells a guidebook. Oh, or was it at a tavern? I'm trying to remember. That's not it. Oh, no, he's got it. Guide to Ald'ruhn. Awesome. Excellent. So, again, very critically, I might have gone over this in the introduction, but we are right along the ghost fence near Red Mountain. Okay, so the three principal districts are Ald'ruhn Town, Ald'ruhn Underscar, and Buckmoth Fort. Right, okay, so the districts, I guess the way that they're described in the guidebook don't necessarily correspond to these kind of elevation changes, as I thought they might. So basically you have the Manor District here under Scar. This is the shell of a giant crab. And then you have sort of the rest of Ald'ruhn Town, more or less. And then you have the Buckmoth Legion Fort. So that's kind of how the guidebook describes the division. Let's talk to a local and see what their perspective is on the districts of their town. Excuse me. Hello. Good morning.
I'm listening. Go ahead.
Wonderful. I was just wondering if you could tell me a little bit about Ald'ruhn. Okay, so the Manor District is in the ancient Emperor Crab shell, known as the Scar, under Scar. Okay, yeah, not a super different take. So in any case, we've got these districts, and we're going to get more into that later. But for now, I want to look at these elevation changes. When we were in Balmora, the elevation changes mattered a lot to me and my kind of engagement and interest in the city as a pedestrian. Ald'ruhn has a little bit of this. I think that, personally speaking, and I imagine that a lot of you would agree with me on this, Ald'ruhn would be less interesting to walk through if it were all one elevation, if it were all one level without these sort of three sort of tiers to it. It adds some interest, it adds some obscurement of vision, which kind of makes you curious to keep walking, and I like that. And it helps, I think, your brain sort of divide up the town into chunks, and that's helpful for navigation. The route is a little bit, and by route I mean sort of, the ways you can go feels a little bit bland, perhaps I would say. I think that when I'm in Ald'ruhn, I tend to just walk in this sort of arc shape, this kind of C shape from the Siltstrider or the Mages Guild, whichever transportation I took, kind of around this bend and then up to under Scar. And that's more or less it. I don't feel a lot of different paths tugging my direction either way. I often don't have business at the temple, and I actually don't often stay at the inn. I think I normally would do day trips in the past when I visited Ald'ruhn for whatever reason. So if you're staying at the inn, then you would go over here. But generally speaking, there's kind of one critical path that I tend to follow. Judging by the emphasis of it, how wide it is, it seems kind of like the main corridor for a lot of people. Gotta dodge these spiky plants here. So that is not to say that there aren't other ways to move around Ald'ruhn. Of course, there are paths like this that you could take, but since there isn't road here, it doesn't feel like you're supposed to be here. It's kind of like a backyard sort of vibe. Oh wow, you're really quite hidden back here. Not much in the way of windows or anything. So this is kind of like a sneaky little path that you could take to the Siltstrider. It feels very unofficial. That could be fun. And I suppose you could also go this way from the Siltstrider to get to Underscar faster, perhaps? But again, I don't know. To me, even though this route might be faster, it seems a little bit... It's just not as compelling to me. I've known about it, but still I don't tend to take it, and I think it could be just the lack of visual information back here. It's just so out of the way without much to look at. It's fun to walk in town, it's fun to people watch, and so I usually just take the main street. So my point here is that while there are other routes to navigate the city, for me they tend to fall flat in favor of the one critical path, and that makes it a little bit less dynamic to move around in my opinion, than Balmora. But that is okay. Still decent. I would say the walkability pleasantness is decent. It's not an overly large city. I think you can get everywhere you need to go pretty quickly, and that's nice. It's not overwhelming. And then here's a residential district over here that, it's interesting back here. I'm definitely, maybe we'll get into this a little bit later, but I'm definitely feeling a class divide happening here. I just can't ignore these cliff racers that are just circling right here. There's like 3 of them, and they feel concentrated in this neighborhood, which I don't like. This is the closest to, I think, if I look at the map, yeah. This is one of the closest regions to Red Mountain and to Ghostgate. And there's no wall here, there's no guard tower. Also no road, by the way. There's no cobblestone here, there's no street. You're right next to the dangers of Ghostgate here, and the houses here to me look a little bit, like these are not the wealthier ones, so I think that we could have a discussion here about environmental justice. I will say that for sure. There's not much protection also in terms of ash storms. Protection in terms of, like, architectural features. Again, we're gonna get into that a little bit later, but under Scar here, where the Redoran District Council is, and some of the nicer shops, they are completely enclosed in that shell and totally protected from ash storms and cliff racers. That neighborhood, that residential neighborhood, is not, and I find that concerning. We'll get into that more later. I kind of went on a tangent there. Ideally, I would talk about lighting right now in the context of walkability. However, it is 3 p.m. and I'd rather do the lighting conversation in the evening when it gets a little bit darker. So we're going to put a pin in that for now, and let's talk about public transportation. I've traveled to Ald'ruhn quite a bit, as I said previously, and I think this is in large part due to how well connected it is. I often use it, if not for a final destination, which it often is since it has a lot of critical amenities, such as guilds and House Redoran. Even if it's not a final destination point, I use it as sort of a connection point, and I think that kind of underscores how well connected Ald'ruhn is transportation-wise. So Ald'ruhn has a Silt Strider, and it has a Mages Guild teleportation service. No boat, it is landlocked, and it has roads. Those are sort of the 3 main ways you can get to and from Ald'ruhn. If we talk to the Silt Strider driver here, we can see where we can go. Alright, so his Silt Strider can take us from Ald'ruhn to Balmora, Nisus, Kuul, or Maragon. So the connection to Balmora is quite notable to me. Balmora is another very large and well-connected city, and Ald'ruhn... Actually, I have a map for this from the UESP wiki. Ald'ruhn helps form, in my opinion, a very kind of critical corridor to these northwestern settlements that we often don't otherwise have access to. Let's go check out the Mages Guild transportation service. It was pointed out to me in my last video that they all have the same locations, obviously, because they're just connecting all of the Mages Guild that exist on the island. So it's a little bit redundant for me to actually go and see where they can take you, because it's all the same. I honestly don't know how I missed that before. While that is true, we're going to just have a look here so you can see how to get to and from, and we can just enjoy the ambiance. This is actually a very beautiful, beautiful site for this service. Because we have the Mages Guild, it does the nice job of rounding out the locations Ald'ruhn can take you to, because the Mages Guild is not proximity-based, right? So the Silt Strider takes us to areas on the west-hand side of the continent, but can also take you right over to the east side, and I think that's really useful. It's a really useful hub, and I appreciate that about its transportation. You can see people here walking around using that main street. Really nice. So yeah, so we discussed public transportation. Let's talk about accessibility, as I promised we would. So again, there was a lot of excellent discussion on accessibility on my last video. Essentially, what was pointed out was that levitation is legal and relatively accessible here in Vardenfell, as well as many temple services and potion services which can cure various ailments. I'm not sure it cures all of them per se. Oh, by the way, side note on walkability. There's actually more parkour opportunity here than I thought there was. I don't usually spend that much time on Ald'ruhn, so I think I haven't played around on top of the buildings as much as I have in Balmora, but this is pretty nice actually. Not as good as Balmora, but pretty good. So, because levitation is legal here, do stairs even matter? At first I was thinking that it is unreasonable or unethical to expect someone who has difficulty or cannot walk to supply their own potentially expensive potions or enchanted items to get them around the city. I was thinking that the city should provide an accessible environment for its residents, right? I was thinking about how long these levitation effects last, and if you're gonna have to like pop a potion every time you go upstairs when you're just trying to get your groceries and stuff, those costs would accrue, and that would be annoying. It's like, oh man, I have to go up these stairs. There's like 5 sets of stairs on my commute. I'm either going to have to like rush and do this within the time limit of the potion, which I paid money for, or I'm going to have to, take several of them to get up each of these stairs, depending on the quality and the duration of the effect. I was considering things like that for a while, and I was kind of thinking that, yeah, stairs do matter. That being said, though, I think I've actually changed my opinion on this. If we think of an item, for example, an amulet or a ring, which is enchanted with a levitation effect, that, and for better or for worse, I'm not necessarily saying this is right or wrong, but if we compare it to where I come from, where the equivalent, I would actually say, is wheelchairs, right? There's an upfront cost to both. Who bears that cost? That's kind of another question, right? And so I was thinking that an enchanted item here in Morrowind is kind of the equivalent to that, right? You get an upfront cost, enchant this thing, but you can use it multiple times and just get it maintenance to get it recharged. And where I come from, when we think of what is accessible, the city at this point, okay, for the most part, is not providing the actual mobility aid, right? They're not providing the wheelchair for the sidewalk. The sidewalk is simply built to accommodate a wheelchair. So actually, without a wheelchair, you can't use it at all. So is it even, accessible, right? That, if we're applying my same lens there, that would be the result. So let's say that the stairs are to the levitation like the wheelchair ramp is to the wheelchair, if that makes any sense. So in this case, I actually think that if we're using where I come from as the standard, which again is not necessarily a given, but I feel like that's kind of outside of the scope of what I'm doing in this video, if that's the standard, then the stairs actually are fine, because it's the equivalent of just a sidewalk being wheelchair accessible, the wheelchair being the levitation enchanted amulet. That's what I used to think. Now get ready for the real take. I was talking with friends and family again, and it was pointed out to me that the Telvanni Towers, with their omission of stairs at critical passages, are compelling evidence that levitation is exclusive enough to be used as a class barrier. The fact that they were built this way implies it's not as easy to get these levitation effects as we might assume as an outsider. Of course, these levitation towers could just be like historical leftovers, and that this ability is now like more abundant. However, I just don't see a reason to assume that's the case. Additionally, a core component of my case was that those needing mobility aids would have a levitation enchanted item, and that this would be kind of equivalent to wheelchairs. When I, however, was challenged with obtaining such an item, I was struck with how difficult it actually is, much more than I remembered. You need a soul gem, and you need a soul. And you need somebody with the ability to put that exact effect on it. If you want, like, a good number of these, you're going to need an organization or a business that specializes in making these disability amulets. And imagine what that would mean. They would be out there with soul gems, and they need to get the soul gems from somewhere, and they would be killing beasts out in the wild on a commercial scale. I guess maybe they would have farms. And for what? Who would be paying for this? Is this charity? No. Are taxes paying for this? I doubt that. I don't buy it. I think that magic is pretty exclusive, and that this is done by those high-ranking in the Mages Guild for a lot of money, and those with the ability to put on these certain spells are few and far between, and you would have to travel far and wide to find someone to do this. And then you would still need the soul gem with the soul in it. Is it possible there's an operation providing these things? Kind of, I guess it's possible, but I think that's highly unlikely. I think it's much more likely that they're just ignoring disabled people. So I think it's just much more reasonable to assume that the working class just does not usually have access to this technology. And again, the towers using these levitation tunnels as a class barrier, I think heavily supports this. I think that normal people, when their uncle with the broken leg is visiting them, they just they just pile him into a cart, kind of like this one, something with wheels, and they wheel him to their house, right? Therefore, I will be considering stairs. As for the existence of healing magic, we already know it can't cure everything, first of all, because of corpus disease. That's not curable, I believe. I think that assuming that the healing magic can heal everything and that it's accessible to everybody is unreasonable. I think is kind of the equivalent of saying, like, oh, there shouldn't be anyone, with any sort of disability here and now in my world because we have modern medicine. But that's not true. And so I don't think magic is gonna just be solving everything. Right, because this is about technology, and technology doesn't solve everything, right? You have to be integrating this with social systems. There's a whole social aspect and an organizational aspect to everything. Technology is just one component, and we do have evidence of technology, but basically I don't think we have evidence of everything else that would need to be in place to assume that this is actually solving things. Also, think about very, very temporary disabilities, right? A sprained ankle, broken leg. They're not going to be going out and buying an expensive levitation amulet, but we also want their commute to be comfortable, as they're kind of limping up the stairs. Okay, that's my thoughts. Definitely leave a comment, talk it out, let me know what you think. Okay, bye-bye. So let's actually talk about lighting right now, because it is dark. It is 9 p.m. Actually, I want to start at the Siltstrider port. Please get some railings on this thing. I feel so unsafe getting in and out of the Siltstrider here. This would be fatal, to be honest with you. This would be fatal. So, anyway, sorry. I thought about lighting first, and then I realized there weren't even railings on here. So lighting, first of all, would be awesome here at the port. Right now, I am seeing zero lighting, which perplexes me a little bit, to be honest, because of the frequent ash storms here. I feel like having lighting is more important in an area with that kind of weather. I'm also surprised that there isn't any lighting here at the gates. Imagine you're out here walking and you've been caught in an ash storm. I feel like lighting would be very helpful to alert you, hey, town is this way, shelter is this way. So again, rather perplexed, still not seeing any lighting. So there is a guard over there, and they're carrying a torch. And this is kind of what I thought I remembered from Ald'ruhn, is that the guards carry the torches. Let's keep walking. No lighting for these steps at all. Okay, so here's a guard carrying a torch. So this seems to be the primary mode of lighting at night in Ald'ruhn. And to be honest with you, I'm not a fan. I don't like the idea that lighting is sort of dependent on the guards. I want to feel more autonomous than that. I don't know exactly how to describe this, but it feels like a weird power dynamic. I'm not a fan of it. You're kind of necessarily being perceived or surveilled. If the area you're in is being lit, then you are being watched, and I would like those things to be disconnected from each other. Oh, shoot. Yeah, please consider liking and subscribing. That really helps with our budget, because it does cost money. Alright, let's keep walking. Still not seeing lighting over here. I imagine this light is from a guard. I just saw some light over here. Yep, there we go. Cute little alley here. Aha! This is a lantern, everybody. That is also a lantern. That is a fire. That is not a lantern. This is a lantern, though. So we have two lanterns here in sort of the uppermost chunk of town, which to me says that there are lanterns available. They're just not distributed. I feel like this is correlating a little bit too strongly to the Manor District. This is kind of the wealthier side of town. These are the nicer shops, and this is right next to the Underscar, which is the Manor District, the wealthiest part of town. So again, I think please just put these everywhere else. This part of town does not rely on the guards, but the rest of town does, and I don't like that unevenness. I think it sends a message about their priorities and about who they're prioritizing. Yeah, not a fan of that. I think this town needs way more lighting. I think I'd feel much safer, particularly not just about nighttime, but this is also about ash storms, which, again, they experience quite frequently. I'm surprised we haven't felt one yet. Oh, excuse me. It scared me. While we're talking about ash storms, and while we're still talking about mobility, I actually wanted to talk a little bit about the sort of anti-ash storm architecture. Whatever the reason might be, ash or otherwise, this is a really cool architectural feature that I like a lot. If you're without a house at the moment and you're living on the streets, I don't know how much they police that kind of thing, but as long as the guards, leave you alone, which I hope they would do, this is a really fantastic place to sleep or just hang out. And again, coming back to the ash, to wait out an ash storm. And you see there's even a building there, and there's a building there, including sort of a high hill bank, which I would expect blocks out a lot of the ash. So this is a really cool feature in a town like this. I really think that's neat and clever to include that. Again, the walls around the temple becoming more important than ever given this climate. So again, loving the walls. Again, worried about the lack of walls in this sort of lower income residential area, which I pointed out. Under Scar is, of course, the best place to go in an ash storm. You have here, this is our first time going in. Wow. Just breathtaking every single time. This is an amazing architectural feature. If you've never been to Ald'ruhn, this is, a necessary visit. Just look at that. And what a place to live, what a place to shop in a climate like this one. You are totally protected from the elements. Wow. Let's just check out this house a little bit. That's beautiful. Oh, wow. That's beautiful. Really, the Redoran architecture is just really spectacular. I'm always a fan. It is definitely better to be wealthy in Ald'ruhn than to not be wealthy. This is definitely where you want to be living. The walkability here is nice up there, but down here it's a little bit of a hike. A little bit uneven terrain, so a boardwalk could be nice. So there's Under Scar, definitely check it out. When you're in the area, it's really fantastic. Let's head outside. Okay, so I think that is it for walkability. Good morning. It's at 9 a.m. and as you can see, we are out here in an ash storm. And boy, is it brutal. It's going to be a little bit hard to be outside today, but we're going to make do. Fortunately, I don't think what we're doing today will necessitate us being outside that much. We're talking about energy today. So let's go jump into maybe this trader here. Redo Thrill Pawnbroker. Whew. I don't think so. You guys keep asking me that. So, yeah, so energy. We're going to talk about energy today. So, again, that encompasses things such as community buy-in, how do the residents feel about their city, the memorability factor of the city, and then also the availability of third places. Since we are in a shop right now, let's just go ahead and talk to who's in here and see what they think about Ald'ruhn.
What is it, Sarah?
Yeah, just wanted to chat a little bit. I'm visiting the area and wanted to hear your thoughts on your city. I heard Bolvin Venom was having an affair with the wife of one of the other counselors. Interesting. Little secret, talk to everyone, talk is cheap. Okay, he's got kind of a outgoing attitude. Services. Pricey but high quality clother. Alchemist and enchanter shops are Under Scar as well. You can get more reasonable prices, but a smaller selection from the smith, clother, trader, pawnbroker, and bookseller. Okay. As a business owner, he would know what other services are in the area. That makes sense. Work. Oh, I'm looking for a fellow named Ayana Sarandas. I sold him 2 fine-matched rings. Failed to pay me the remaining drakes. If you find him, turn them to me. Oh, who is this guy? His parents died recently and left him their house into drinking expensive liquor and has incurred some gambling debts. He's a charming lad, everyone likes him, but he's not very sensible. Huh. Where do I find this guy? I mean, I'll pay you 50 gold. Well, I guess, if I see him, then I guess I'll chat with him. He didn't have a lot to say about Ald'ruhn specifically. Again, he knew about the different services around, but that makes sense since he is a business owner himself. Let's try talking to this person.
What is this about?
So she's got the same rumors going on. This is a commoner. Also knows about services. Specific place. Everyone's kind of saying the same things. Oh, wait, isn't this that guy's house? Isn't that the name that we were just told? Is he home? Excuse me. I guess so. I just was stopping by and I happened to. Alright, that's cool. I just wanted to check in. He didn't have much to say about the town, which is interesting. I would have been curious to know what kind of the upper class here would have to say. But it's nice to be indoors. The ceilings here are so nice and tall. It's a nice space.
Fresh game.
Okay, commoner. Again, I'm noticing people are saying welcome to Ald'ruhn. That, I think, demonstrates a kind of ownership over the city. I'm not seeing a lot of people talking about leaving or, like, trying to move away. I noticed that once when I was visiting Saint-Denis, so at least we're not kind of getting any of that. I'm inclined to say that the community buy-in is decent. I feel like it's decent. I'm not seeing, like, people bragging about it a whole lot either. But everyone's quite well informed. They're welcoming me to the city. So I'm getting kind of a good vibe. I would say. Welcome to Ald'ruhn, again. Really nice. Let's go have a seat over here somewhere, maybe. Yeah, so that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting from community buy-in. Decent. Pleasant, decent, pretty good. Now I'm going to switch gears a little bit, and let's think about memorability factor. A lot of people here are bringing up the scar and underscar. Obviously, that is a huge part of the identity of Ald'ruhn. Something that everyone recognizes right away, and something that the residents here are sure to point out to a foreigner. I always came to Ald'ruhn to admire the architecture in general, but in particular the underscar, because you just don't see that anywhere else. Let's not just sit around here all day. Let's go look at it, actually. Again. I'll just have to brave the elements. Oh, Lord. Oh, it's uncomfortable. Okay, so here it is. Scar. Really fantastic use of the natural local materials to create something that's also well suited to this environment. Right, it protects you from storms like these. It's very rooted in place, this local environment, and I really like that. And I think that really increases the memorability of Ald'ruhn. Definitely giving Ald'ruhn a high score for memorability. The parkour opportunities in here are not fantastic in my opinion. I don't know why there's no fence here, by the way. Oh, here's the Red Run Council entrance. Let's just pop in here, just for some tourism.
What is it, Outlander?
I'm just visiting. Let's just enjoy this. Look at the ceiling. It's so intricately tiled. They're able to fit so much interior under scar. It's really cool. Again, I wish more of this space were utilized, as a matter of fact. I wish that, well, we'll get into that later, I guess. And then you can step out regardless of the weather, and you are safely cocooned. So now let's talk about third place availability. So again, third places are basically locations where people can gather that are outside of home or work. So we have the temple here. Let's have a look at the temple. I would call this a third place, I think, in general. This is a place outside of home and outside of work where you can chat with your friends, meet new people, and just generally socialize and connect with your community. So I'm definitely going to count the temple. Looking for storefronts and stuff. So we've got the inn where I'm staying. That counts. Again, we've been in here so much, but you can see people mingling in here, enjoying a drink. This building is Council Club. Awesome. Yeah, well, look at all the people mingling and stuff. This is great. Actually, I don't know that I've spent much time in here before, but it is, this is an incredibly sharp, doorway.
What is it, Sarah?
Hello, I'm just taking a look around. I haven't really been here much before. Nice seating down here, really comfortable. Look at that. I would love to just, grab a drink and just hang out there on these cushions. Seems really cozy. You could even get some work done here, presumably. That's really cool. Oh, I'm just looking around. Please don't mind me.
Can we hurry this up?
Alright, people are sounding a little bit adversarial, and they're all looking at me. But I am an Outlander, so that, for the locals, that's probably a great place to hang out. Interesting experience. That happens sometimes. There's some kind of xenophobia issues that you're going to commonly run into when you travel around Vardenfell, unfortunately. That's just the way it is at the moment. Alright, Mages Guild, Fighters Guild. Yeah, I would definitely call these third places. What is this? Is this a house? No, Rat in the Pot. Oh. What kind of establishment is this? I think it's a... You can't get beds here. Oh, hello.
Don't stand about.
I love this kind of seating. It looks a little bit less cozy than the last one, but still really nice. Hopefully indicative of people using the space, though I don't see anyone there at the moment. Excuse me, thanks. Just beautiful. I love the blue lanterns. I could just stare at the blue lanterns all day. Hey, thank you for the warm welcome. My trade. Thief! Ooh. I do a little bit of that myself, as a matter of fact. Thank you for your time. So that explains why there's no sign out front. This is kind of an underground location for the local thieves guild. So yeah, this is a third place for people of that inclination as well. This is a cozy room. Very cool. Again, it's a big city, so I'm not surprised. Doing great in terms of third place availability. You've got kind of your regular inn, you've got council club, you've got guilds, pretty much on similar kind of numbers here to Balmoral.
It would be wise to stay indoors.
Yeah, right? I should get inside. Actually, I might just... What time is it? 6 p.m. I might just wait and come out later. Woo-wee! Yeah, so I think that's pretty much our discussion on energy, to be honest. Pretty good score. Pretty good score I'm gonna give it. Yeah, I'm gonna wait out this storm, and I will see you for our final segment, which will be diversity. Let's try some hound meat. So it's 9 a.m. I got kind of a late start today. Have some hound meat for breakfast. Let's see how the weather is. I hope we don't have 2 days of storms in a row. Oh, beautiful. That's perfect. Okay, awesome. We're going to talk about diversity. What does that mean? Well, in this context, I'm going to be thinking about diversity of zoning in terms of, like, are there really distinct, like, residential versus commercial zones? I'm going to be thinking about the diversity of housing options. And then I'm also finally going to be thinking about kind of social justice issues, environmental justice issues. As we've already discussed many times, this is primarily a manor district, and then surrounding Underscar, we have a commercial district. Is this a house? Oh, clother! Oh, I always enjoy visiting the clothers, actually. Or would you be interested in a little work? Wait, you also have work? Oh, dude, this guy is like... Oh, man. I actually have heard of this guy before. You're not the only one with a problem with him, I see. Let's get a kind of an expensive shirt. That's okay, I can afford this. Do I have shoes? Yeah, I have shoes. What do you think? I'm a big fan of this shirt. So, let's see, I think the owner probably lives down here. Oh, awesome. This is where the magic happens. Okay, yeah, so she's got her house down here too. That's cool. We like to see that. Does this go for everybody? Oops, that's locked. Which suggests to me that they might live in there. Yeah, so I'm noticing a lot of people have their hammocks and everything here in shop. I assume this is also where they live. So although this looks like a purely commercial district, people are actually living in these places. Let's see if this is also true for the houses under Scar. So I guess this is the really, like, nice clother in town. Oh my gosh. This is massive. Bedroom. Yes. Nice, nice, nice. Ooh, extra things maybe for events and stuff. That's pretty cool. Wow, yeah, that's an expensive place. So, yes. So, although these seem like purely commercial districts, you do also actually have them living there. So, it's pretty mixed in that sense. So, obviously, we have the Ald'ruhn house located here, but these other places should be manors. That's like...
Why are you here?
I'm just walking around. I need to, you know... It's cool. We're cool. Let's see if we can get a little sneak peek inside these manors. Lethri Manor entrance. Oh my god. Dude, this is so big. They've got a tree inside. And it's cool with these manors too because they're kind of used to having people visit and just admire the architecture. So definitely if you're in the area, don't hesitate to just kind of drop by these manors and at least get a feel for the foyer.
Why are you here?
I mean, you'll get questions like that, but it's cool. Definitely, we've got very different classes of neighborhoods going on. At least when it comes to Underscar versus the rest of the town. Up here, we've got kind of shops mixed with residential in the same unit. I'm a fan of that as long as, you know, they're not unsafe working and living conditions when combined. Alright, this is another kind of single room house. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just kind of peeking in houses and getting a feel for their size. Ooh, this is a 2-story one. Huh. Trapped. Alright, I'm not gonna pry. It's all good. Gildan's house. Okay, another 2-story. So I'm seeing a mix of single-story, 2-story houses. This neighborhood I talked about earlier. To me, let's have a look. Can I get in here? Another single-story house. Ooh, 2-story house here. Ooh. So, it's tricky. Ooh. Okay. Better not disturb this person, maybe. Well, or maybe I should. You good, man? No, I don't think we've met. A pauper. A general laborer. Okay. So you're most likely supporting the operations under Scar. And then, what about this house? It's locked. I kind of want to know what... Is this your house? Yes, this is your house. I'd better not go in there then. My trade. A pauper. Also a pauper. Okay. Yeah, so... The houses kind of are similar sizes to the rest of the houses, but this does seem to be a poorer neighborhood. And again, I just have to express my displeasure at the proximity to Ghostgate right here, especially given the lack of any kind of architectural barrier like a wall, or guard towers like we have on the front, where honestly they might not be needed. Like, come on. To me, this definitely kind of screams of an environmental justice issue. You're going to have bad ash out here, bad wildlife encounters, and you don't even have a paved street. Definitely we're not winning points in the diversity department so far, at least when it comes to sort of, when it comes to class. Are you a pauper? Okay, you're a pauper too, okay. I think I remember seeing a larger house around here. I'd be curious if there are, like, kind of manors outside of Underscar. Ah, okay. I thought I saw something like this. Let's check this out. This is very much unprotected. There's cliff racers everywhere. I actually feel unsafe even kind of walking over there. An interesting building, totally out of the way. Okay, guards patrol pretty far. Let's check this out. Oh, Morvain Manor, okay. So this is a manor outside of Scar. Hello? Is anyone home? Excuse me. The table is set. An unused fireplace? Hello? Is this a key? Should I'm gonna take it. Okay. I don't want getting in trouble. Okay. I'll just say that it was open. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. There was a body down there. There was a body down there. Where's that guard? Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Hey, there's a body in that house. Shoot. They don't believe me. I wonder if I need to go back in there and like get some kind of proof of... Oh shoot, they're right there. Do I have any kind of weapon? You guys know I'm not very combat ready. Oh shoot. I'm not, okay, I'm gonna, jump and run. And close this door. No, close this door. We're getting down here, and we're checking on this guy. Okay, are you alive? No, you're not alive. Shoot. What happened down here? What? Oh my god, there's more. Oh, there's more. What is... I need to get out of here. These red candles. Oh, what has happened? Oh my god. Is this some sort of ritual happening? Oh, there's like a struggle. Alright, I need to get out of here. Oh no, how am I gonna leave? Oh, I'm blocked. Shoot. Yeah, I'm really, oh, shoot. Oh, shoot. Oh no, okay. I have no choice. I'm running. Oh my god. You guys, I cannot believe I survived that. I'm not talking to that guard anymore. They don't believe me. That was crazy, honestly. Did I just do a Logan Paul? Shit. Okay, guys, so I went straight to bed at 6 p.m. last night, right after that happened. It's now 6 a.m. I slept 12 hours. I feel a lot better. My head feels clearer. That was a lot, but we're just gonna have to move on. I need to finish the video. I need to keep filming here. We're just gonna carry on. We're gonna carry on with good attitude. Severe condolences for that guy. Alright, so the sun is rising, it's dawn. Gotta get my head back in the game here. So, in terms of zoning, I'm going to give it a good grade for the diversity of its zoning. The reason being, I like that you've kind of got these guilds down here, and then it kind of mixes again with sort of residential, but not too far from the commercial areas also. And then the commercial up there is mixed with residential. And you've got some establishments here on this sort of middle tier. Overall, I think it's good. I think it's good. I think that it's nice to have these amenities sort of all next to each other at the entrance of town. It's kind of nice to have a shopping district. You can kind of get everything done here. Fun to browse, fun to people watch. Sit around here, watch the mingling. I'm not mad about it. There are a lot of single-family homes here. A lot of them. I did not see much in the way of larger families, double beds, anything like that. I don't see much in the way of apartments. We definitely have a variety of sort of pricing of housing. There's like some simple ones that are just like one floor, and then all the way up to the, you know, massive manors in Underscar. But there's also like an inn and stuff like that, and you can rest at temple and stuff. So in that way, I feel like it's decently diverse. I think that there's short-term housing, there's sort of cheaper, medium, and more expensive housing available, and yeah, that seems pretty decent to me. The big thing, though, that I'm noticing is the class differences between the neighborhoods and the relative safety of them. Again, if we go over here, let's see, how far does this wall even extend? Let me see. Again, the wall is here, the guard towers are here, and this is not to say that there aren't hazards out here. You still have the ash storms out here, I've seen some rats and nixhounds and things like that. But you don't have Ghost Gate right here, so actually this wall needs to be fixed. Is this a leftover from the Red Mountain explosion? Because I know that like part of Ald'ruhn got wiped out, but I don't know if this is from that and they just haven't rebuilt it, or I don't really know the time scale of those things. Interesting, there's no like road here. It starts over there, that's kind of interesting. This is a nice little traveled corridor here. I see that she's using this house. That other neighborhood looks poorer, but the interiors all seem about the same. Oh, shoot. Yeah, please don't forget to like and subscribe, everyone. Really helps out the channel. I think that's kind of it. I think that we have done it. I think that concludes our exploration and analysis of Ald'ruhn. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for coming along. This was a challenging episode for a number of reasons, as I'm sure you understand. Nonetheless, I'm always happy to visit Ald'ruhn, and I'm grateful for everyone being so welcoming here when I visit. And definitely come check it out if you haven't already. Alright, thanks. Bye-bye.